There you go. Hopefully this thing's working. Oh, that's too bright. So, let me wait for a bit. So look, because crap, what was his name? I can't remember his name right now, but he'll probably pop in the chat in any given moment. But anyway, since somebody wanted me to talk about something different than this astrology and tarot, because that's like kind of like my go-to usually. But fine, okay, I'll do something different for the once. So I'm trying to remember who was it. But anyway. So anyway, here's your wish granted. So don't be complaining that I don't do anything else. So take it. Not like that. But anyway, so I decided we're gonna go and talk about a psychic vampirism again. I talked about this before, many moons ago, but I'm actually gonna go in much more depth. So I'm just gonna grab that, get that out of the take 3 years later, thank you. A scoochie over there. That can go over here. This can open up. Hello, Kayla. This can go like this. Open up already. Thank you. Now this way. Okay, so hopefully. Okay, now that way, just having that be there like that, so that way you can kind of see me better because of the lighting. Okay. Wait. Oh, wrong way. Well, I don't think. Okay, I don't think we need to make that. I can't even. Okay. Now that I can see myself better, but oh gosh, this little glare thing. Not funny. That'll do. So anyway, psychic vampirism. I've talked about this before a while ago, and about like how doing psychic vampirism like so onto someone else, like literally. Don't no, that's not vampirism. Doing this to someone, that's assault. That's assault, which is illegal, and you're gonna get yourself probably smacked in the face. So don't be going biting people. That's not no. Please, again, I'm going to say it again. Please don't go and bite people. And now, if somebody consents to it and they're into that, that's different. But anyway, now getting into vampirism. So, vampirism. Okay, let's see. Let's start with the obvious. The term vampirism, is essentially, well, for a vampire, it's essentially a being or entity or state of awareness that pretty much feeds off of energy of another, or feeds off the life of another, like the life force. Best example is like the vampire bat. Feeds on the blood of whatever poor mammal soul it gets a chunk out of. But that's the idea usually. And then when we go into some of the mythological stuff, like for example, Nosferatu, how it's actually a human figure actually consuming the blood and stuff like that, the human vampire. It's the same idea, feeding on the life force of somebody who's alive. But then at the same time, too, there's like the superstitions of like, oh, vampire, garlic. Okay. Or, you're being chased by a vampire, you just grab a bag of beans and be like, count it. And then, they would count it. Then there's also the idea of silver. Like if you have something silver, just go hit them with it. I believe it's silver, quicksilver. I think I might be wrong though, so don't quote me on it. And of course, the good old idea of here. Let me grab a apparatus real quick. Then we have the idea of simply, even though you would be prefer to have like a wooden stake, but just go right in the heart. But usually that's like one of the only other known ways to kill a vamp, like actually slay a vampire figure. But we're not being like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, so I'm meh with that. So with psychic vampirism, it's the same concept except you're actually feeding off of somebody's energy instead. Now, the thing with psychic vampirism, though, and if you do practice it, one huge thing you got to keep in mind and you have to remember, and please listen to this. If you're going to be taking energy off of someone, unless you know how to transmute, and unless if you know how to actually, I'll get into that when I talk about the next, because there's going to be two types of psychic vampirism that I'm going to be talking about. So, unless if you know how to transmute that and how to make it not be harmful to you, like for example, say for some reason you wanted to get a quote-unquote vampiric, okay, that's a weird way of saying it. Like if you want to get a vampiric fix, I'm just going with it, okay? And you decide, I'm just going to take energy off of this random, okay, this thing is bugging me. Oh no. Let me stop. Here, get that out of the way. And say like you're going to take energy off of this random person down the street. Just willy-nilly, just, okay. You just took energy off of this random person walking down the street. And all of a sudden, you feel sick. You just started vomiting. You get dizzy. And you don't feel good for a few days. Little do you know that that person actually was either one, heavily intoxicated, two, going through intense trauma, three, probably doing substances that they should not be doing, or is actually a really not so good of a person. Like this person's probably has done a lot of cruel acts. That can happen. Or they actually have malevolent or baneful entities attached to them. And those entities are pretty much afflicting that individual. And it's affecting like their life and their being because of it. That's the potential risk. If you're not careful, if you're not, really scrying into the one you're looking into. Now, here's the thing, though. You also got to keep this in mind. Say, for example, if they did put a spell on themselves, like a glamour spell, they have a spell on them. You psychically take the energy off of them. You pull that energy from them, their energy from them to you. You're pulling everything that's on them. Now you're afflicted with it. So they have a spell to woozy boo someone. You're pulling that onto yourself. So say if they're trying to get Harold over here, and you're just vampiric fix and get some more energy. Uh-oh. So you pull the energy off of them. Now you have this glamour spell on you to make Harold get woozy wooed about them, but now it's also on you. So now Harold is going to see you and get all fanboy towards you, and then he's going to see the other person with the original spell, and now he's going to be caught between the middle, both of them, both you and the victim that you I almost want to say vampirized. You use vampirism on. So it's going to be like a big, I don't know which one to choose. So that's how crazy it can get sometimes. This is a forewarning. But that's also at the same time one of your best protections too. Meaning, at least what I like to do. If I ever have a feeling that somebody is either one trying to take energy from me, I just pretty much make the intent, or I just make a sigil on the fly, and then I just make the sigil pretty much have the intent. Whomever is trying to steal my energy, or whatever is trying to feed off of me, gets afflicted with poison instead. Or that what is feeding on me, they pretty much instead the energy they believe to be feeding on becomes toxic to them. Or simply put, whatever feeds on me, I now become toxic to it. So somebody doing vampirism grabs a hold. But that's kind of like a safety precaution. And with vampirism, you do not actually have to feed off of another person. You can even simply do vampirism on the elements, for an example. Get those right here. Like, say if you... No, not that one. That was too tiny. Say if this honker thing had energy on it. Like if it was charged with something. Hand you don't write with. Your recessive hand. Preferably facing towards you. If it doesn't have a point on it, just grip. And then as you're squeezing it, try to have the stone or thing you're grabbing hold of to suck the energy out of, like a rock or whatever you deem fit. Have it be going into the wrist, like so. And then when it's going down this way, it's going right into the vein and it's going to go right to the heart. So when you push, it's going right into that vein and all the energy is going into the stream, to the heart, and it's circulates through. Hello, Lissy. So then you can hold it for as long as you deem fit. And then when you feel like you have sucked it clean, you can then do whatever you want to do with it next. Another word of caution. If there's something like, I say there's an object that is, like an heirloom and it's actually haunted, or like a deemed cursed object, don't do psychic vampirism on it. Please don't. Probably the best example. Yeah, but the thing is, when you're, like here, for an example, like for the phone, if you don't have the intention to suck the energy out of it, okay. But now say this. Like, I'm going to show you how freaky deaky this can get. Let's see. Do I have just like a random image of something or someone or just something that, I don't mind? No. Oh, I actually don't have anything. Okay, so we'll go like this. You know what? I have a good idea. Besides, it's also good practice to demonstrate on how to transmute. So let me find a picture. Please hold. And like I said at the beginning, warning, do not try this at home unless you know how to transmute. Because if you don't know how to transmute, do not do this, because you don't want to be afflicted with whatever God knows heck this victim of yours has. And you don't want that. Where in the bloody heck? Oh, right there. Never mind, the cake was a lie. Instead of it being frosting on the cake, it was toothpaste. Yeah, that's what I felt like just happened. And another thing to keep in mind, when doing vampirism on an image, like a picture of somebody, like in the current moment, they could be like completely all, they say, for example, in the image, they're perfectly just fine. I'm like, oh, happy. I feel like it's perfectly fine, but it's just whenever you get a hold of them, like for example, say you went down to the Goodwill and then you bought this kunai. Okay, good. You have a kunai now. Good. But as soon as you take it home, you cleanse this thing. Like you put like a mixture of lemongrass, frankincense. But if you want to be extra, purging and purified with it, take a little bit of hyssop oil, just a drop, one little drop, just up, and then just dry it off, and then it'll be cleansed. Because hyssop is like the ultimate, nuke, kind of, when it comes to like purification herbs. That'll help purify and make any BS attached to that just go off and out the window. Okie dokie. Aha! Look what I find. This twat head. Okay. So, ugh. Oh, by the way, Kayla, you remember? Did I ever tell you about that individual that if I just encounter this dimwit's existence, automatic X? Do you remember that? What? I mean, so what? Good, because guess what? Auto hex. That's just what happens. But anyway, to kind of demonstrate. So, and yes, I'm actually Slobberknuckle. Oh, yes, Shakespeare and his very clever, magical, unique, and what in the bloody heck insults. That's why I love Shakespeare so much. It's like, you can make your own type of insult with things that actually sound kind of woozy and random. But anyway, so, oh, auto hacks. And I mean, I'm sorry, it happens every time and it crosses my existence, so. Anyway. So, now there's a total of numerous ways you can do vampirism. How much battery is? Okay, my phone will kick the bucket. So, but I'm now blind, but who cares? So you have an image of the twat head. Okay. Now there's so many ways about going with vampirism. There's the pretty much just by sight. And pretty much you're going to be, when you're focusing on whatever poor unfortunate soul that's going to get the life sucked out of it, you're actually going to be focusing with your eyes. And when you're looking at whatever is being, not really metaphorically chomped on, when you focus the gaze towards whatever, you're going to pretty much push your eyes. Well, it doesn't sound weird if I say it that way, but that's the best way I can put it. You're going to focus, and then you're going to feel like you're going to push your eyes forward, and then pull pretty much close your eyes, and then pull backward with your head. So it's going to look a little bit like this. Really? Oh, you throw off my groove. Rude. Let's try that again without having any distractions. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it's just like, okay, do you mind? I'll talk to you in a minute. Let's try that again. So, take two. So, you're going to just pretty much just focus, and it's going to look a little bit like this. Oh, trust me, that wasn't dust. It was not dust, because trust me, this camera is cleaned. Sometimes people only do that because they like. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, it's like, when you have viewers that do that mess with you while in front of a live studio audience, yeah, those are the good ones. So, anyway, so simply focus in and then pull. That's one way. 11, 11, 4. Okay, so we're getting a foundation and, things being, how do I put it? It's like things are going to be coming into a more manifested stability. Okay, yeah, here to go. So now, that's one way. Number two, this one's a little bit more animated, so get out of the way, shoe. Away with you. And you too, twin. Okay, so, this one again. So, you have dimwit. Pretty much what you're going to do, again, just like the first one, just focus in. Then you're going to take the hand that you do not write with, and while focusing on, you're going to have your, I feel so weird saying recessive hand. You're going to take the recessive hand, and what you're going to do is just relax, just pretty much just feel the tips of the fingers. I kind of like to do this, just to kind of get into a flow state. Just relax with it. And now as soon as the hand goes like so, you then pretty much just pull towards you. The biggest thing, focus and then just relax the hand. Oh. And when if you feel like a pain like right there, yeah, that's when you know you did it right. Oh. Mm. Oh. Ugh. Oh, just don't. I really don't like this twat head, but anyway, for science, I guess. So that's one way. Another way. Okay, let's see here. Since I'm not going to take a chomp out of my phone screen. Another thing you can do. Image of twat head. Recessive hand, the same thing. Essentially, Moon and Scorpio, well, it depends on the nakshatra, because if Jeshta, most definitely. But essentially, Moon and Jeshta, they can actually, I would have to say, the mind and the imagination is able to actually pierce through any kind of protection, because Scorpio goes, it breaks through stuff. I mean, the way that I look at it is like, you can do whatever you deem fit. You're free to do as you please. And that's just the truth. But with one caution. That's Jester, I believe. Let me double check my pigeons real quick. Hold on, I have it. Where did I have it? Over here. Yes, I believe. Oh, so. Well, that would be fixed. That would be number. Fixed, that would be. Yeah. That's water and fire. So, willpower, energy, and then emotion. So that's fire and water. Yeah, you can kind of see how that goes together. Another way, option 2. Simply twathead. Same thing again. But if you don't want to be theatrical about it, just again, relax the hand. Have the open state be there. While I'm thinking about it, Anything like if K2 is involved, because what's K2? And the void. What happens when you have a void? Like a black hole. Gets yoinked. Maybe also and also Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. That's one. I would not really say Pisces, because Pisces is more like Pisces is too like intoxicated. Oh, Rahu. But then most definitely Rahu can be very. I'm gonna just call it like I'm gonna call it. Rahu can be like very. I'm gonna just say it how I want to say it. He could be pretty much like the Lady Gaga of it. Like, what the bloody heck are you doing? So Rahu in the 7th house in Sagittarius. I have a Sagittarius Rahu too. What degree? I don't know what the. I have no idea what the galactic center is. So go fish for that one. Oh, so Rahu and Capricorn. What degree? What degree of Capricorn? Now I'm kind of intrigued. But anyway, the other way. The hand. The same thing with like the other method. For congratulations. You have Rahu in Abhijiti. Take that as how you will. That's a good thing. So, the other method. Image of twat head, relaxed hand. Recessive hand, by the way. Relax the hand. Is ready to take the energy. Image of twat head, simply. And then just grab a hold. And then hold it for as long as you need to. But again, keep in mind, it's still an Abhijiti. It's still an Abhijiti. It's still there. Close enough. Still close enough. But the word of caution, if you're using the phone, again, be careful. Because not only is the image going to have the energy, but at the same time too, this thing having all the, other kind of electronical emissions it has, it'll also be part of that too. So make sure you know how to transmute. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, I don't think I want to teach that one, because that one might be a bit too dangerous. And I'm not going to also say about how to also use this like on animals. No, none of that. Another thing you can also do with the elements, like for example, water. The phone one is dangerous, but if you know how to transmute, it won't even affect you. But like you can even also use vampirism like on incense smoke, believe it or not. But how can you get life force from smoke? Diffuser mist. And depending on what oils you're diffusing, qualities get pulled in. Fire, careful with that one. Water, simple. There to go. Water, well, obviously, you can just simply pull the energy off of the water. But again, water is, if it doesn't have an intention on it, it's just wet. Blank wetness. No. You can also do it with plants too, but I don't like doing that to plants. You can get energy off of a passed on and the dead, but be careful. But that thing with that though is that you have to understand it's kick the bucket. It can be very it's good to know anyway. It could be very dangerous, and you better be on your A game of transmuting. But even then, I wouldn't really even take energy from the dead because it's well, for one, hell is going to come in and be like, "Oh, you want to be deaf, don't you?" Yeah, I can't do that to the dead, but you can do that. That's an option if you deem fit. Now, let's see. I'm going to deviate a little bit, and now I'm going to scooch over to talking about some stones you can hold and have on your person. Yep. If you want to do anything vampiric. So. Okay. And yes, I'm going to be I'm actually going to be also sourcing from one of my favorite books ever. One. There's another one. One. Definitely, there's another one, obviously. Definitely that one too. Okay. So, that one's also another given. So, hello, Fiona. Really cool. This one. So is that one? Give me that one. Definitely that one. Okay. Let me just get my little. That doesn't sound weird. Let me get my little rock club right over, right all lined up. And you're gonna need you, and you, and you. Well, you can get over here too. Okay, so some stones that you can actually incorporate with your vampiric shenanigans. No, I don't. Oh well. So, some of the stones you can actually incorporate with your vampiric shenanigans. And the first one, good old clear quartz. Because, like what I've always said about clear quartz, whatever you want it to do, it'll say, yeah, I'll do it. No matter what it is. Intention wise. Don't tell it, okay, rob a bank. Because that's not going to work. So, pretty much, if you need to have more focus, even if you need to just have it with you, just to hold on to, and as you're holding on to it, you're doing your vampiric woozy woo tactics or shenanigans, Whatever energy you pull in, the clear quartz is going to grab the harmful aspect of it and drain it out. So you're only getting good energy. That's one way with it. That's one stone. So get creative with that one. Number 2. Black tourmaline. The ultimate, and like really no BS allowed in here. So again, protection stone and also taking anything negative and just going down with it. Next one. People call this one smoky quartz, but I would rather call it something more fitting. Shadow quartz. Shadow quartz. Simple. What does the color black do? Light. Sunlight. Pretty much just simply hold and taking the qualities of shadow quartz, pulling in, just like that. But this one's a given. Red tiger's eye, vampire eye, or oxeye. Simple. This one has a lot of iron in it. And what's really in the blood? What's in the bloodstream? A lot of iron. Even tastes ironic. Punny, I know. Next one. Trying to get a hold of this little bugger. Hematite. Especially this one. This one's like a real one. Like this one. Okay, let go. And hematite actually does come from like the prefix hemo, which is blood. So, because when you actually like take this something sharp and cut the surface of a hematite, it actually start turning red. Hematite, again, it's also a magnetic stone, so things just get pulled to you, and it is heavy. Like it'll keep you on the ground for sure. And next one, let's see. Believe it or not, tugtupite. This little flirty, cutesy thing. Now, tugtupite. You have to warm it up a little bit. But when it turns pink, like it's pretty much this is really good to help you focus to get into like the feeling of like the energy. And then when you're ready, that's when you can actually go and strike and pulp. But this is a rare stone. It's only found in Greenland. Next one. Ruby. Ruby actually enhances any kind of blood related workings and also any kind of exertion of energy or life force. So ruby's one. Another one. Thulite. This one is now's not the time, Carpet. You scooch tush out. Thulite. Flirty stone is also a stone that's also very hot. But because of it having all the energy into it, it can actually pull much more faster and have a lot more of a. That's gonna sound so bad. Like it has more of a swiftness to it, but the hold is much more potent than say like we didn't have thulite. So thulite helps get the hook line, sinker, and pull. Carnelian, well, pretty much red quartz and does enhance. The blood related works. It also, if you have blood quartz or known as a stratite quartz, which is essentially blood red quartz crystal, natural, that does enhance any kind of vampiric workings. Do I have another one over here? This one I don't have as a stone. Oh yeah, Onyx. Pretty much Onyx is like a black void that goes, but it pulls slow. So Onyx would be best used, say, if you're having like a slow, consistent pull off of something. That's one. Of course, the red garnet. This one is, well, this one's particularly is the star garnet, so it does have that uniqueness to it. But garnet, again, is pretty good for keeping the zest and keeping like the purified, strong, energetic link attached, and the quality of whatever energy you're pulling from while holding onto a garnet actually increases that's a weird word, the sustenance of the energy you pull while holding the garnet. Rhodochrosite, believe it or not, a lot of people don't expect this one, but rhodochrosite was actually believed from American natives that was actually made from the blood of their ancestor line. So again, blood. So this one is actually really good to pretty much. Okay, that makes no sense. Like, say if you were focusing on a target and you wanted to actually learn more about them, and like trying to actually see like what kind of their energetic background is, rhodochrosite for that one. Next, black moonstone. One of Lilith's favorites. Black moonstone. Well, representing the black moon, the dark moon, the void moon. Now, if you're divinating to see about, going after someone, or say if you're trying to actually pull without any kind of representation, and you're just using your mind's eye, this will help you focus. And when you actually have the target in the spot where you want, back moonstone. 2 left. Next one. This one's a must. As it flips upside down. Shungite. Essentially, shungite, in a nutshell. It's essentially the bottom feeder crystal or stone. Essentially, if you were to put a piece of shungite in a bottle of dirty water, give it some time, the water will be crystal clear, and the shungite will numb on everything that's not helpful for the water. It purifies and it cleanses it. So, you need to know how to use transmutation. Even if you're not good with transmutation, simply just having shungite, that's good enough. Because the shungite is going to just go filter out any BS attached to you. And last but not least, but probably the one that's like, oh, obviously, good old bloodstone. I don't think I need to explain why with that one. So those are the stones. Herb-wise, you can say ebony wood, vampire orchid, which is a black orchid, black rose, red roses, bleeding heart, even bloodroot if you want to be really, really going all the way. Can't think of any other herbs off the top of my head. So I guess I'll now talk about and actually this might be the last bit of everything. But now I'll be talking about the other kind of psychic vampirism. Because there's actually the standard, like, okay, just taking energy off of someone or a source. And then now we're taking that like a step, like a big honker step forward with it. So, throw this away. So, okay. This type of vampirism is extremely dangerous. Point being, if you were to do this, and if you don't know how to transmute, you might as well grab a rocket launcher, aim at your foot, pull the trigger, and have your foot get blown off. You'll be pretty much getting the same result of that. But anyway, so this type of psychic vampire is called the Sin Eater. Sin Eater, that sounds a bit dark or whatever. So, picture this. All that a Sin Eater is the same thing as a psychic vampire, but again, taking it up like a huge notch. If you have somebody who is in a state where they're suffering with something, be it like a curse, a hex, plague, or even anything that's karmically hitting them upside the head by Saturn, or anything that is a hindrance to them, no matter what it is, what a Sin Eater can do is actually take and feed off of that completely toxic and pretty much toxic, and I'm trying to find another strong word to accurately describe it. Toxic, but also, I don't want to say life-threatening because that's too meh. Pretty much it's an energy that's like a death wish. Meaning that if you do not know how to transmute, and if you try to actually do that and pull it off someone, if you don't know how to transmute, whatever you just pulled off of them, you get afflicted with it. So now they're free, you're getting hit in the face for all that they had. But keep in mind, with the Sin Eater, they can choose to do it. They don't have to. And the reason why it's a really, really, not really practiced and talked about and let alone like done is that 1, you have to be a specific kind of person to be able to do it properly. 2, again, it's dangerous. 3, it is very old. We're talking like Nagi old, and that's like old, like quadruple, and even more than that, like old, like not new here old, like been here long before all the continents were one old, metaphorically speaking. So it is a double-edged sword. It's a blessing, but also a curse. Blessing because you can actually help and liberate people from whatever malefic or toxic or decaying affliction that's on them. But at the same time, the other bad part of it, if you don't know how to get it off you and transmute it or keep yourself safe, you have to go through all of what you grabbed. But at the same time, it's really good. It's really good protective measure too, because the thing is, if you have somebody that's also being in a way a psychic vampire, and they're going to feed off a Sin Eater, they might as well take a can of ether, take a bite out of it. Ether does this. It makes you unconscious, to put it lightly. Because you got to keep in mind, a Sin Eater, at any moment, they could actually be transmuting something that they took off of someone at any moment. And I know because I am one. It has its good times, and then it has its moments of like, oh, please push me off a cliff. But if done properly, you can actually be able to help and relieve so many people's pain, suffering, and let them finally be able to be at peace and at rest and being able to lay it down and move forward with their life and not have this hindrance on them anymore. It can be. But you got to be careful. Now, changing gears, say if now you want to actually have an entity help you in your psychic vampirism shenanigans. And ideas that you could consider, possibly. Number one, you can go towards Nyx as one. Another one, well, then again, you gotta invite her properly. Lilith may be another phenomenal one to invite. That's the keyword, invite. Kali, believe it or not, could be another one. Even though not really a divine figure, but believe it or not, Medusa would be another one. Morgan Le Fay would be another one. Hold on.